Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. All it took was one shot. Deontay Wilder made us wait, but he didn't disappoint, ending Luis Ortiz near the end of the 7th round. A right hand hits Ortiz flush, sort of part on the forehead, part around the sort of socket and nose area, and he is devastated, can't beat the count. He claimed that he thought it was a quick count, but not by my count. I thought there was nothing wrong with that. Deontay Wilder ends it in style in a very composed and measured performance. Almost didn't throw the right hand in the fight. He used it seldomly, but when he did use it and detonate it in that 7th round, he certainly had high effect, and Luis Ortiz knocked out. Deontay Wilder defends his WBC title for the 10th time. It was a very interesting fight and a very circumspect fight, almost a mirror image of the first 5 rounds of Fight 1 from March 2018. Luis Ortiz, behind his boxing, was looking to outbox Deontay Wilder, rack up some rounds, and I had Ortiz ahead after half a dozen rounds, but Deontay Wilder never worries about whether he's down on the cards because, as he says, he only needs 2 seconds, and if you give him that 2 seconds, he can make it count, and he did in this one. And there was very deliberate sort of tactics from Wilder, and after the fight, in the post-fight interview, he said he had to measure him, he had to calculate. He said, my intellect is high in the ring, although I don't get credit for it. And clearly in this fight, he was looking to, well, one, keep it low volume, keep his mistakes low, but he was making an effort to work the left hook, and he threw that probably more in this fight than recent fights, but also more than the right hand. And he did have some success with it throughout the fight, and at one point, I think it was round 5, I want to say, I think he buzzed Luis Ortiz with it, and it was a good shot for him. And ultimately, because I was thinking at one point, is there something wrong with Deontay Wilder's right hand, because he just wasn't throwing it. He had it holstered. You sort of thought there was opportunities for him to throw it, but he was almost exclusively looking for the left hook. He didn't really have much of an authoritative jab. It was really sort of pouring out there, almost exclusively looking for left hooks, either to the face or to the body. And that was one thing in this fight that I think I've seen more in this fight than maybe his past half a dozen fights, was body shots. He was actually looking for the body and having success. But in the same vein, Luis Ortiz, he was having success with his left hand, ripping Deontay Wilder's body. He did catch him with a few nice left hands, straight left hands to the face. Couple of different rounds where he looked to put it on Deontay Wilder, but Deontay Wilder stayed out of trouble for the most part. And when he was sort of pinned to the ropes, he would sort of spin out and get out of trouble. But after the first half a dozen rounds, it looked like, Luis Ortiz was in control, but you always got the sense it was only ever one punch away. And I did actually tweet, I think it was about 30 seconds before the end, was there something wrong with Deontay Wilder's right hand? Because I was expecting him to use it a little bit more and throw it, but he didn't disappoint towards the end of that 7th round, really nailing Luis Ortiz. And you can see here, the look on Ortiz's face. He was in some serious trouble. He got up at about 7, but just couldn't get to his feet. And the referee, Kenny Bayless, he did actually, I thought it was a pretty generous count, because remember, it's not 10 seconds, it's a 10 count. People who are using stopwatches, it doesn't work that way. But Bayless gave Ortiz every opportunity to get to his feet. And Ortiz, in the post-fight, said he was clear-headed at 7, and he thought that the count was a little quicker than I thought. But at that point, I thought, well, this is an excuse. He's just got knocked out. He's trying to, show a bit of pride here, but he was legitimately knocked out by Deontay Wilder. One punch. Impressive performance by Deontay Wilder. And I think we saw a little bit of growth here in terms of the performance. And sure, it was low volume, but it was a calculated way in that Wilder was fighting. It wasn't some of the Tyson Fury fight where he was a bit ragged at times, throwing the right hand and finding fresh air. He almost had it holstered for much of the fight, but when he needed it, he pulled it out, pulled the trigger, and Ortiz was taken out of action. So good performance by Deontay Wilder. Defeats Luis Ortiz for the second time in round 7, and my prediction was I thought it would be very similar to the first fight, that there would be a feeling out process, and I thought Wilder would win quicker the second time around, somewhere between round 6 and 8. So that sort of paid off for me just in terms of the prediction. Didn't have any money down, maybe I should have, but Deontay Wilder didn't disappoint. He did know what Luis Ortiz was looking to do in there. Although he wasn't always sort of in control, Luis Ortiz was the aggressor, and in some very low volume rounds, Ortiz was just sort of shading some of them on my card. Some very even rounds too, very hard to sort of score it. But Ortiz himself, what next for him? Well, he indicated that he will continue. He was asked about that. He said he's definitely ready for what's next. And in the context of his performance, he certainly didn't embarrass himself. At 40 years old, he put up a good performance against a long-reigning champion. It was his second and presumably final opportunity to fight Deontay Wilder. Couldn't get it done. No controversy in this fight. Legitimately knocked out. As for Wilder, he spoke about the next fight being Tyson Fury in February, so he's got through this one, hopefully injury-free, because there's a tight turnaround for that second fight, which would be February the 22nd, 2020, just 3 months away. So the build-up, to that will start very shortly. So a rematch with Fury is on the horizon, so should it happen February 22nd, 2020. But I did like this fight from Deontay Wilder. His performance, it was a measured one. He was taking his time. He was patient. And as he said, he did show some good intellect there in the ring. And some of the left hook, you could make an argument that maybe it did sort of take Luis Ortiz's sort of attention off the right hand to some extent. So when he found that opportunity to land it, he did. Ortiz couldn't recover. But yeah, Deontay Wilder, 10th defense of his title, so he's now level with Muhammad Ali. But what did you make of this fight? Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.